Battle through the firmament. Grand world. Chapter 357 Azure Dragon Forest Blade. Xiaoyan. Wu Shaoqi saw Xiaoyan and Ma Huyang at first glance, and she couldn't help but feel happy in her heart. When she saw that there were nearly 10 Monarch Emperor warriors following behind them, she was slightly shocked. Did they poke a hornet's nest? Wu Shaoqi and Lin Dao quickly came to Xiaoyan's side and asked in shock. However, a strange joy surged into her heart. She was an extroverted person, and now that she saw so many powerful enemies, she felt nervous and happy. Ma Huyang, I can't believe you are also so weak. Lin Dao's sharp eyes looked directly at Ma Huyang. When he sensed the lack of origin Monarch Kiss in Ma Huyang's body, his expression involuntarily changed, and he immediately said in a cold voice. It can't be helped. There are a lot of enemies. Ma Huyang smiled and stopped. He really felt a sense of powerlessness coming from his body. He didn't have any strength left. Senior Mu, this is the medicine pill that Elder Lu of the Pill Association gave to grandfather. It has a great effect on recovering the origin key. Seeing that the enemy was getting closer and closer, Wu Shaoqi took out a crystal yellow medicine pill and handed it to Ma Huyang. Ma Huyang nodded and did not say anything. He swallowed the medicine pill. When the medicine pill entered his abdomen, a faint warm feeling was immediately transmitted from his danshan. His originally weak limbs seemed to have gained some strength. Why are you guys here? Seeing Wu Shaoqi and Lin Dao, Xiaoyan could not help but doubt. It could not be such a coincidence that Lin Dao also came out to take the graduation exam. Even if it was Wu Shaoqi, she did not seem to have a reason to follow them. Wu Shaoqi was about to speak when Lin Dao's cold eyes stared straight ahead. A rare smile appeared on his cold face. Ghost Hawks, Sky Python Group. There are a lot of people. While the few of them were talking, numerous Monarch Emperor level experts suddenly arrived. When their smiling faces saw Lin Dao, their expressions instantly changed. Lin Dao, why is he here? Xinwei sucked in a breath of cold air and a bitter expression emerged on his face. Although Ma Huyang's ranking was higher than Lin Dao's on the Yunlo's ranking, in terms of reputation, it was undoubtedly Lin Dao who was better than him. The ferocity and coldness of the latter was something that even they couldn't help but exclaim in their hearts. After all, Ma Huyang would only kill those who posed a threat to him. However, if Lin Dao offended his people, those who were related to him would all be killed. Lin Dao, what's wrong? Is the Yunlo Academy going to release all 10 men from the realm in Valley? Wan Laoshan gritted his teeth. Ma Huyang was right in front of him, and it seemed like he didn't have any strength left. He didn't want to let go of this fat piece of meat in front of him, but he didn't dare to act rashly, so he could only speak in a cold voice. Lin Dao didn't say anything when he heard this. There was no expression on his cold face. He stretched out his right hand, and the Imperial Dragon Point blue spear under his feet appeared in his hand. He pointed the tip of the spear at everyone, and his eyes were filled with endless coldness. Whoever wants to die, come and try. Bastard. Being humiliated by a young man like this, the faces of all Monarch Emperor warriors darkened. They were all people with high positions in their respective gangs, and they had. Damn it, I don't believe that this young man from the Yunlo Academy can turn the tables on us. A Monarch Emperor warrior finally couldn't hold it any longer. He roared furiously and rushed towards Lin Dao like a bolt of lightning. The origin key on his body was surging and carrying the force of shattering the mountain rocks, causing the space to crack. Lin Dao's expression was indifferent, and he remained unmoved. The Imperial Dragon Point blue spear in Lin Dao's hand seemed to have let out a dragon roar the moment the huge palm of the former was about to strike him. In the next moment, everyone could only see a shadow flashing past. Lin Dao had already appeared behind the Monarch Emperor level expert. He pointed behind the Imperial Dragon Point blue spear. The tip of the spear pierced through the latter's body and lifted him up to the tip of the spear. Fresh blood gurgled out, and it was clear that there was no longer any life force left. One move to kill. Black-robed old man's mouth was slightly bitter. This guy's strength was not any weaker than Ma Huyang's. He was the same as Ma Huyang, a Monic Emperor, but he was still killed by a single strike. This kind of person had far exceeded his knowledge. Who else? The long spear in his hand trembled, shaking off the body of the dead man. Lindao's facial expression didn't change at all. His sharp eyes looked at everyone with extreme coldness. Seeing Lindao's strength, Wu Shaoqi secretly gritted her teeth. This was the true strength of a powerful warrior in Realm in Valley. An expert on the same level as her grandfather was actually killed by him so easily. Thinking of this, Wu Shaoqi quietly looked at her hands and pouted. A puzzled look flashed across her beautiful eyes, as if she was hesitating about something. Ma Huiyang and Xiaoyan flew backwards without showing any surprised expression. The former only smiled lightly, and a trace of passion flashed across his eyes. This fellow had grown a lot stronger after coming out of illusory spirit space. Xiaoyan looked at the majestic Lindao and couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Between him and these two true experts of Realm in Valley, there was only one thing that he couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Sure enough, there was still a long way to go. Thinking of this, Xiaoyan couldn't help but think of Xiaoyi. He still didn't know how strong this guy was, and how powerful he was. Lindao had killed a Monic Emperor with lightning speed, which had obviously shocked everyone. For a moment, no one said anything. Lindao's cold eyes swept across the crowd. Just as he was about to speak, Suxing's voice suddenly sounded from the crowd. Since everyone is afraid, we can leave now. After that, all the representatives will become famous in Capital of Chaos. At this point, Suxing sneered. His tone was full of sarcasm. Everyone's face darkened when they heard this. They cursed in their hearts, and their hesitation was instantly resolved. Suxing's words had forced them to attack. Kill. With Suxing's words, Shulia, who was standing aside, couldn't hold himself back any longer. With a furious roar, the origin key in his palm rushed forward like a roaring thunder towards Lindao. Behind him, Zhugang, who had long lost his patience, followed closely behind. The Ghost King's spear in his hand tore through the void and transformed into a pitch-black flood dragon. At the moment when the two of them attacked, black-robed old man, Xinwei, and the others didn't hide anymore. All of them let out furious roars, and as the origin key exploded, the formidable Monic skill had already struck out. When Suxing saw this, a cold smile emerged on his face. He leapt up and rushed towards Ma Huiyang, who was standing behind Lindao. 10 Monic Emperor warriors rushed over. The origin key was so powerful that it shook the heaven and earth. The vast forest below was turned into ashes. Lindao frowned and took a deep look at Suxing. However, there was no fear on his face. The Imperial Dragon Point blue spear in his hand gently tapped the void. Then he leapt towards Shulia and Zhugang. There's still me. Seeing everyone rushing towards Lindao, Wu Shaoqi, who had a look of anticipation on her face, suddenly took out a fiery red longbow. Her slender fingers pulled the bowstring, and 3 arrows made from origin key shot out. The air that the arrows streaked across was filled with flames, and it contained an infinite amount of force. Xiaoyan was slightly shocked. When they were fighting against the giant bear monster in illusory spirit space, Wu Shaoqi had also used bows and arrows. But this time, the power was clearly much stronger than before. Even he felt a shiver the moment the arrows exploded. Swoosh! The arrow was like a fiery falcon, piercing through space. Under Xiaoyan's gaze, it instantly hit a Monic Emperor level expert that was rushing over. It was Xinwei's younger brother. In the next moment, the Monic Emperor level expert's expression suddenly changed, and it let out a miserable cry. The arrow had already struck his left shoulder, causing a raging flame to ignite. It incinerated all of his origin Monic kiss. In the blink of an eye, the raging flame had already spread to his entire left arm. Lindao's eyes were like lightning. With a light flash, he dodged the attacks of a few Monic Emperor warriors. The long spear in his hand was like a dragon chasing the sun as it pierced through the chest of the former. Chapter end. Please guys like, comment, share, and subscribe.